Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today from Hasbro in their Marvel Legends line, we are featuring the Uncanny X-Men Spiral. Alright, so this is a retro carded action figure. It came out a while back. It's just now I'm getting around to reviewing this action figure. Not that I was burned out on Marvel Legends, but I kind of took some time off from Marvel Legends just because maybe I think mid last year, I kind of felt like I had all the characters I wanted. There was a certain point where I didn't give up on the MCU stuff. I still like the MCU figures a lot, but I think in terms of my collecting goals, they were kind of met already. I really wanted like a core set of X-Men, core set of Avengers, core set of the Marvel villains, and more so kind of leaning more on the comic book side than the MCU side. But then I kept on seeing images of Spiral on social media, and I told myself I wasn't going to get her because I knew I'd be jumping down a rabbit hole, because if I got her, I would need Mojo, and then with Mojo, I was kind of on the fence about, do I want the standard release or do I want the Comic-Con exclusive one? After much debate, I decided, let's just pull the trigger. The Mojoverse isn't a whole lot of characters. Maybe at some point in time they'll do Major Domo, who knows? But, right now it's this Spiral, Mojo, and then there's the one, I think, X-Baby Wolverine that comes in the Comic-Con pack. Alright, so let's get started. We have Spiral here, the beloved six-armed Mojoverse character. Former love interest of the X-Men character Longshot. She's one of those characters that always goes back and forth. Sometimes she's a hero, sometimes she's a villain. I think most fans might just remember her for being a villain. But if you've read the comic books, there's been a couple of times when she kind of turned over a new leaf and would be fighting on the side of the Angels. But nonetheless, she makes for a great looking action figure. She has, as you can see, 6 arms. Which I'm really curious about how they're going to do this. There was the Spider-Man figure some years back, and that Spidey I think had 6 arms as well, and it was kind of an interesting articulation scheme. Beautiful artwork on the left. I want to say that might be done by artist David Nakayama. I might be wrong on that though. And on the back, we have other figures in the assortment. We have the Jim Lee X-Men 275 Wolverine. We have Jean Grey as Dark Phoenix. We have Longshot. We have OG Multiple Man. We have Avalanche from, I think, was it Freedom Force and the Brotherhood. And then we have Spiral. Spiral, Mojo's deadly enforcer, possesses additional cybernetic limbs, powerful mystic abilities, and a deep enmity for her former flame Longshot. Spiral is one of those characters where her skill set, I don't want to say it's broad, but, they mentioned, she kind of dabbles in mysticism a little. I believe teleportation, I think, is one of her powers. So first impressions, man, there's a lot of accessories. She's on 2 trays. There's a separate accessory tray that comes with the 4 swords, her small little axe, and a much more fantasy-inspired sword. These are more like Japanese katana blades. She features an additional pair of hands, one open left hand, and then one C-gripped left cybernetic hand. And as for Spiral herself, it's a really, really great looking action figure. Yeah, the face is done pretty well. Her eyes look a little bit lopsided unless the helmet's on crooked. But very nice, neutral expression. I kind of wish they'd give her 2 expressions, because, whenever I envision Spiral, she's always kind of like this, angry, Virtuosa. And this one's very neutral, very calm. Nice color palette. I think the baby blue they use is a nice shade. I want to say I think we've seen this belt before on another figure. If you're a kit basher, I think this would be a great fodder piece. If you want to, use this on a female Joe character, or if you want to customize another character. When I first saw this, my first thought was, this would be great like on a Domino figure or an X-Men Hope action figure. The helmet's well done. There's the two horns coming off the top. Nice shade of silver. It's not too bright. The hair is sculpted nicely. It gets a little bit chonky towards the tips, but that's to be expected. And the hair feels like it's not as flexible as I'd like, but it's kind of soft enough. It seems like the hair piece here is going to hinder the articulation, like prevent her head from turning around all the way. And it kind of does fight the figure a little bit when you try to swivel the head. She kind of features like a plastic armor over her shoulders. And it's a little bit off center. Could we center this? Yeah, there we go. It seems like the hair kind of like pushes it towards the center, so it's a little bit off. Now she does have the 6 arms, and they're all independently articulated. And it's not that it's difficult, but it's kind of hard to get in there and adjust them. I'm not sure if the arms in the back, if the range of motion is as liberating as it is towards the top and the bottom. The top and the bottom, they almost move like normal Marvel Legends. The ones toward the back, they feel... I mean, you can still move them, but it doesn't feel like I can move them in every single way that I'd like. But that's to be expected, For one, she has a slimmer frame, and there's only so much real estate to, apply sockets and peg holes. She features a cut beneath the breast line, which allows for nice range of motion. And there is no waist swivel, so any of that kind of swivel movement you're going to get toward the mid-torso, not the waist. Her legs kick up and outward with an upper thigh cut. Double pinned knees, and the articulation is hidden, which is nice. She features the furry boots, which I like a lot. And then there's ankle articulation hidden underneath. So yeah, it's a fantastic looking figure. Let's equip her with some of her weapons. I'm going to swap out the cybernetic fist for the gripping hand, just so it'll afford me more options in terms of where to place the accessories. Yeah, this is a great figure. If you're a fan of this character, I think it's well worth a purchase. I kind of feel like we don't get enough female X-Men villains. And I think this is nice. It helps build out your X-Men inspired roster. Like some characters, like Mystique, she's a big X-Men villain / hero or anti-hero. I think we still need a Destiny figure. I think we've had 2 Polaris. We've had tons of Storms and Jean Greys. A handful of Rogues. But I think there's other characters, other female characters, to tap into, like Sam Guthrie's sister, Husk. Let's wait, where's that other piece I'm looking for? There's Celia from the Reavers. I think there's different incarnations of Lady Deathstrike I'd love to see. There's Yukio. Also, Lady Yoshida. Wow, this is great. Yeah, so it's awesome. You can fully equip her with everything, and she's good to go. This is a great looking figure. Yeah, so I think this is really well worth a purchase. And if you're not super hardcore into X-Men, and let's say you're maybe into fantasy action figures like Dungeons and Dragons, you could really proxy this into that. Some sort of character. If you're looting dungeons and you encounter this 6th armed warrior. The articulation feels kind of stuck in some of my elbows, but that's alright. My biggest fear is just tearing some of the joints. You know, I've had such bad luck in the past with some Marvel Legends figures, especially some of the Spider-Mans. Like, the joints would tear, like at the butterfly or at the elbow. But this one's nice. It seems like, you know, a lot of care and thought went into the design of this figure. It's kind of like a small engineering feat because there's so much going on. But yeah, it's a great figure overall. I like this a lot. The presentation's beautiful. The retro card, you know, is kind of this like, you know, a nice love letter to older fans who grew up on the original Toy Biz figures. Yeah, so this is really well worth the price. You know, if this is something that interests you, you know, hunt it down. But like I said, you know, this might throw you down a rabbit hole that you might not be ready to invest money in because, you know, if you really want to stay true to the character, of course, you need a long shot figure. And if you have long shot and spiral, you're really going to need a Mojo. And Mojo is, not that it's super, super expensive, but it's like I said, you know, there's two different options. I think if you want the like complete experience, you really need the Comic-Con exclusive. Not only for the additional like baby Wolverine accessory, but I think the paint application, much like other Hasbro's Comic-Con exclusives, the paint application is just more detailed and just looks nicer. And be on the lookout for a review of that in the near future. Alright, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.